we've watched a lot of movies we haven't reviewed.
We have, haven't we?
So, but today, game night, because it's game day. So we watched game night.
Okay.
See, I've mentioned
Right.
she doesn't like it when the strings are of an uneven length, so it drives her nuts.
It's all like, no.
So, see if I do this.
Stop it, Shannon. No, see, you make yourself look like a doofus.
Yeah, what? Yeah, it's a Transformers jersey, but yeah, that's what'll do it. Game night, when it came out, we wanted to see it in the theater.
Yeah, it looks
and then
funny.
we didn't end up seeing it.
Because we have children.
This is true, and it's not a kid's movie.
It's not. No.
Although the boys would find it really funny.
The boys would find it hilarious.
So Jason Bateman, who's highly likable in everything he's in, with Rachel McAdams, who is just absolutely amazing in this movie. There are a couple who they play games, and I think Sherry would enjoy this movie.
She would, but she would probably have the similar comments to me that I did at the beginning.
So they're invited to a games night, and they bring Clue.
Crap! They brought crappy games.
Clue, Scrabble, and Life.
Which is just stupid. Real adults don't play games like that.
No.
Life? Really?
No. Scrabble
you don't take to play with a group of 6 friends.
No. No, that's not going to work.
No,
I think
it's not a thing.
It's a good flick. It's not a bad movie. It's funny. I did laugh quite a few times. I thought it was really funny. I thought the black couple was probably the funniest, and I was actually kind of disappointed they didn't have more in it.
Yeah,
I thought they were really funny, especially the let's light the door on fire when they're locked in the room. You want us to start a fire in a room where we can't get out and there's no windows. He calls her Bill Nye the Science Guy. Yeah, it was a really good movie. I didn't
really like the ending though.
I was gonna say the only part that lost me is how convoluted it was at the ending.
The end was kind of stupid.
The overly convoluted ending, and
it just kept going.
It's too bad because when you've got a cameo in there of Michael C. Hall, who was Dexter, you don't want to waste it, and it kind of felt like they did. Dexter's a series that I've talked about before that I really enjoyed it, and then it lost me. But Michael C. Hall never has. He's an amazing actor, and you don't get to see that in this movie. Not really. He's just a mustache twirling villain. There's really not a whole lot else to it. And yeah, it does get kind of convoluted.
I just didn't like the end. It was stupid. It's a funny movie.
Yes.
Crappy ending.
Yes. Because there were parts, and I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't seen it, but there were parts at the end where her and I lost our suspension of disbelief. There are certain parts where you're like, okay, there would be crews on scene right now. There would be cops here. There would be an ambulance there. There'd be fire trucks for this part. And, they
called the police at the beginning, and then when they're like, no, don't.
And then that's just it. The cops are just gone.
It's the end.
All right, well, it looks like there was some kind of a break-in and a fight, and
somebody was kidnapped.
People got beat up and kidnapped.
Talk to us?
But since you guys don't want to talk about what happened, we're just going to go because we got better things to do. It's like, and there's gunshots ringing out all over the place and no cops. None. And I'm like, somebody in that area would call the police.
Yeah.
Or the police would notice something, but they don't. I thought the creepy neighbor character was well executed. Again, there were parts with him where I kind of got ahead of the movie on where it was headed. Yes. But there's a nice twist with how it gets there, so that wasn't bad. But that's where it should have ended.
Yes.
That's where it should have ended, and
Agreed.
you could have taken that part that wasn't tied up and gone, who wanted this? And you could have ended it right there. You could have ended it with, oh crap, is there something else that's going to happen? Yeah. And then just end it there.
Yeah.
And because they still at the end, there's still like this
stupid though.
This kind of cliffhanger
But
thing
it's
that
stupid.
it is.
That's dumb too.
Because it didn't.
No, it doesn't even make sense.
No, it really didn't. But it's still funny how you get there. And like I said, Jason Bateman's very likable. Rachel McAdams, she's fantastic. I have thought Rachel McAdams was fantastic going back to Mean Girls, and it's funny because Mean Girls, Lindsay Lohan was the big star, and Rachel McAdams was just the snobby girl. And you look now, and if you look at some of the more recent DVD covers they have, Rachel McAdams is the main focus, and Lindsay Lohan's kind of in the background, because Rachel McAdams has become this mega star. And she looked like she was in really good shape for this movie too. Like, it looks like she actually got herself into pretty good shape for this movie. She seemed to be, I don't know, just in better shape than regular. She just seemed really fit. And I don't know if that was because maybe she did her own stunts on some level. I don't know. She just it seemed a little different to me. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the dumb guy. He was funny.
I knew at the beginning when they were like, somebody's gonna get kidnapped. Well, it's not gonna be him because he's hilarious.
Yeah, he was so dumb.
You have to have the moron.
He was really dumb. And then when they were doing the montage of the dates he brought before, oh yeah, there were some doozies in there. Do people play charades that much at a games night? Because it seemed like charades was the big thing.
I ever have. I've played charades a lot with kids.
I used to do charades when I was in an acting class. That was a big one for us
Right.
with acting. We were doing improv. And then Pictionary was one I used to play a lot at parties with friends of mine. But that was just because it was a new game at the time and everybody was playing Pictionary. Pictionary is a way to tell that nobody can draw.
Yeah.
It's basically what it is. And it ends with, you expected me to get that from this? You know, or you get like yours is a verb, and it's like, well, just forget me, because I don't know how to draw wind, so forget it. I'm just not gonna bother. You know, and then somebody else comes like, well, you draw like this, and it's just fantastic, whatever. But yeah, I got a kick out of it. I don't know if I'd watch it again. Like, I don't know if it's a movie that I would watch again from the start.
Right. It's funny though. It was funny.
Yeah.
It was just like the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, the last 10 minutes was, why is this tacked on?
Yeah.
Why is this here? Why? Because, you know, the big driving storyline behind it is that his brother is very successful, and he's successful-ish. Do they get into his job?
Yes.
They barely touch on it, though. Because I'm trying to think of how he can afford a really nice house. Because they have a nice house.
Well, they said that he bought stocks in Panera.
No, not the brother. Max.
Which one?
Jason Bateman's character. The main actor.
Oh,
They show him with the doctor at the start.
Oh, right.
Where they're trying to figure why they can't conceive. But did they ever actually talk about what he does for work?
I don't know.
Or his
I don't
wife?
remember.
Because they live pretty well. The joke in the movie seems to be, oh, well, you know, they live like a middle-class life. Well, that was not a middle-class home they had.
Right.
They had a nice house. And, you know, the brother just happens to live in a mansion.
It depends on where they live.
Well, they set it up that it was California, by the looks
True.
of it. So I wonder if he might have some shady dealings going on there and just not realize it. But yeah, it was a very good movie. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it. I thought it was suitable to watch it on a day when the Super Bowl is unwatchable. To her, the Super Bowl is always unwatchable.
It really is.
To me, the Super Bowl today is unwatchable. By about the 86th punt, I said, oh, okay, even if I could talk Yvonne into letting me watch this, why would I want to watch this? I really don't care. It's not like the Chargers are in there because they choked already, so I don't care. So what did, like, if you grade this movie on a scale of 1 to 10?
I'd probably give it a 7. It was a fun movie to watch, and it's funny, but
See, and
the ending was crap.
I would give it an 8. It would have been an 8.5 if you cut off the last 10 minutes. It would have had a higher grade for me without the last 10 minutes.
I think it's funny when we have the similar opinion, and we didn't talk about it all before.
No. but but we both
Well, I
kind of
think
groaned. We both kind of
Yes,
groaned. We
in
were
that
like,
last one,
oh
that's
no.
like the third ending, and we're both just kind of went, really?
The only
And then
time
we started over analyzing. No, it doesn't work like that.
the only
That's
time I've
not-
ever there's one time in a theater where I've actually said out loud, "Oh, why isn't this over?" And that was Return of the King. So everybody else is like in
It was
tears,
so
and
long.
it's this wonderful ending, and I'm like, why isn't this over? Because it was ending number 12 or whatever it
yes.
was. I'm like, oh my god, why? Oh, we're out of Mordor. The rings go. Why are we still spending? It was half an hour ago. Throw me into the fires of Mordor, so I have to put up with this crap. But yeah, this movie kind of had that groaning, and I think if we'd gone and seen it in the theater, we would have groaned out loud. I think as soon as I'm not spoiling anything, but there's a gunshot that happens when you think everything's resolved, and you go, oh, why? And then of course the reaction too, and I'm thinking,
Yes.
no, the reaction doesn't make any sense. Cause why? Like none of it. It didn't work. And then if somebody, hey, if a cop calls for help shows up within the next 20 minutes.
Yes. Oh, at least.
And in this movie, apparently his radio wasn't attached to anything because no help ever showed up.
Well, he didn't say the last word.
Bridge?
Yeah.
But they know what road he's on. There's flashing lights
just
from the
saying.
car.
Just saying.
And that's why I have to drop it half a point, because that doesn't make any sense. Police officers are far smarter than that. I've talked to quite a few police officers, more than I would like to, over the last 4 years, and they're smarter than that. And I don't have like an ankle bracelet. I'm not hiding anything from people. I don't.
Sounds like you like cause trouble or something.
No, I just seem to attract trouble.
What
is
have
what
you been
happens.
doing in your spare time, Shannon?
Oh, it's not spare time. Not spare time. It's just while I'm working, you're just getting into trouble.
Oh.
But yeah, there are a lot of moments in this movie that you're like, I have to suspend my disbelief. I have to suspend my disbelief.
Yeah,
and then
like when he brought in Scrabble and Clue and Light.
you're gonna focus on that. Where at the end,
bring in those games,
and then at the end, it's just you go right over that edge, and you can't suspend your disbelief anymore. But it's a funny journey to get there, and yeah, I did enjoy it, and I thought too. The Irish date that the dumb guy had, I thought she was very entertaining.
She was funny.
She reminded me of you quite a bit. There were a few moments where, like, he goes to touch her lips, and she does this, and then when he goes in to do it again, she bit him. And I said you would do the same thing. If some guy's trying to, hey, can I touch your mouth? No! And then I'll bite you the next time you do it. Yvonne would do that. That would, some guys she didn't like is just grabbing at her face. So,
yeah, I'm not putting up with that.
No, not really. That's kind of why, for people who watch my hockey channel too, when a guy gets bit during a game, I don't really talk about it, because I kind of understand that when somebody's got their glove in your face, you just, all right, well, if you're going to stick that finger in my mouth,
I've done it to the kids before.
I'm probably going to bite.
You put it in my mouth.
Yeah.
Not hard. I'm just teaching them a life lesson. Don't put your hand in somebody's mouth.
Yeah. Don't put it. Your hand's so flipping cold. It's
it's really cold.
-8 Celsius today, so it's a little colder than normal.
Out the window. It's too dark.
But it snowed, so for people in the East Coast, they're like, oh, it's warming up. Yeah, it's out here now, and it's supposed to be out here for the next week and a half. So the good news is it's not as
really
cold
pretty.
here.
That's
It's not
the
as
good
cold
news.
here as it was back east, but still,
No,
it's
we don't get
it's
that.
chilly. So, yeah. All right. So, would you recommend people watch this?
Yeah.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
because it's funny.
Yeah, it's funny. All right.
You don't have to think too much while watching it.
No, you really don't. You really don't.
Not at all.
And if you just turn it off the last 10 minutes, it's a better movie. It's like Insidious. Insidious was like that too, where I watched that with my ex. She had to leave the room for the last 5 minutes of the movie. We thought it was over. So there's a conclusion, and she's like, well, I'm going to the washroom. All right. And then I'm like, oh, the movie's still going. And then they did like the jump scare ending, and she came back. She goes, "Well, the movie kept going." I said, "Just remember the way you saw it end, because it's so much stupider the way it actually ends. That's dumb." And so, it's sort of the same thing here. There you go. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. And for people interested in FestiFest, we're gonna lock down the greatest island that's never existed in the history of planet Earth. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be a combination of that plastic island of garbage in the Pacific. We found a use for that. We're going to use that. We're going to use many recyclables, and we're going to make an island out of that. And it's going to seat at least 25,000 people. It's going to be great. FestiFest. And I'm working on a Jackson 5 reunion, and because Michael's not with us, Adam Lambert's going to sing for them. So that's the plan. We'll see how far that can go, but if Adam Lambert won't do it, David Lee Roth's shown some interest. I haven't got back to him yet. I have to talk to his people, but FestiFest. I'll talk to you again soon.